What's going on, beautiful people? You are listening to On Second Thought, and I am your host, Lamont Cordell. And it's been a minute, y'all. It's been a long while since I recorded a podcast. I read somewhere recently that podcasts usually don't make it past their 13th episode. That's usually around the time that creators meet their threshold in regards to creativity, feeling as if it's not gonna flourish the way they want it to, and that's when they stop creating. It started to look like that's where I was headed, but I rest assure you it was not on purpose, right? It has been a long break, but over that break, I realized a couple things. One of them being is not having enough on your plate and having too much on your plate have a very similar effect, right? What I mean by that is if you don't have enough on your plate and you have nothing that you're seeking to improve at or goals that you're looking to reach, you don't do anything. You're stagnant. You're placid. There's no movement happening, no forward progress happening, right? Well, I've also learned that if you put too much on your plate, it also has the exact same effect due to the fact, well, not for all, but at least it did for me, right? Not to the effect that I wasn't doing anything, but to the effect that I was trying my best to do a little bit in each of them, which was leading to me not having any forward motion or progress in any of them, right? With that being said, I was trying to balance my work life, my family life, creating content for both YouTube and this podcast while also networking, right? And to some high performers, they'll look at that and be like, man, you should see what I do, what I accomplish in a day. Well, I'm not here to talk about anybody in regards to what their schedule is like. I'm here to express to you guys why I have not created content for the platform and over, I think it's been a month or so, or a month plus, right? Now, this is the thing. It took me a minute to realize that I was putting too much on my plate, right? But at the same token, it was one of those things that I feel was necessary for me to understand where my threshold for discomfort or where my threshold for not accomplishing anything in regards to my goals was when I applied too much effort to all of them, right? Or just a little bit of effort to all of them. I realized that I was working 12, maybe a little bit more hours a day. I would come home, try and spend family time. And then on top of that, I would also try and find time to create content, which essentially would encroach on the time that I spent with my family, right? And you factor in trying to network with Vet TV. These are all just establishments that are pulling for time and asking me to be a part of what they have going on, right? So I look at that and it was all stressing me out. And it wasn't fair to my family. It wasn't fair to the audience that I'm trying to create. It wasn't fair to the recruiters that I worked with in my office. So I had to dial some of it back in order for me to focus on the things that were important, right? Again, I'm not saying that these are not things or that you shouldn't put a lot on your plate. What I'm saying is there should be boundaries and rules set forth for you to understand where your threshold is. Everybody's threshold is going to be different. I found mine throughout this process, and I understand where I need to apply effort and when I need to apply effort in certain categories or certain parts of my life versus in other parts of my life. And right now, I'm currently on leave, which is similar to in a normal job being on vacation, right? So I have more time to spend with my family, which then leads to more time for me to be able to do this, okay? Also over this time, the second thing that I realized is my reason why. I've always knew my reason why, but I reconnected with my reason why. I watched a documentary by Val Kilmer. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. The gentleman he played Doc Holliday in the movie Tombstone. I think he played in the movie Top Gun. A few other movies that most people my age would know. I'm showing my age here, right? But he played in a few of those movies. And the documentary was showing that he detailed and recorded and documented a lot of his life leading up to the point in which he is at today, right? And I thought it was a beautiful thing to see videos from his childhood, from his teenage years, him documenting some of the struggles he had as an actor, so on and so forth. And like I said, it helped me to reconnect with my reason why. Because the reason why I started developing content on these platforms, albeit, yes, it does provide some type of motivation or some type of direction for the people watching, at least I would hope so. The reason for me starting it is one, for me to be able to look back and see who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and see where the growth lies, right? But it's also an opportunity for me to develop and create content for my children to be able to see who I was, the growth, the things that I struggle with, my internal dialogue, my external dialogue, the things that made me me, right? And I think that it's a simple reality. We're all going to pass eventually. And then the likelihood, or under the chance that it happens in the immediate future, I would love my kids to be able to look at these things and understand who I was and why I operated and functioned the way that I did. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon. But with more time, more content will be created, therefore allowing me to have more of an opportunity to show my children, my family, their children, who their grandfather was, who their father was, so on and so forth. So it helped me reconnect with that. All right. Now, what I will say is, in regards to the podcast, I set a lofty goal. I like to say lofty goal of releasing one podcast every week. Here's the problem. All right. The problem is I'm doing the podcast from my home first and foremost. And I know because of COVID-19, everybody has been doing virtual podcasts and everyone's using Zoom and things like that. I have yet to figure that portion of how to do this out, right? And I know I need to make headway in doing that because it's kind of hindering my ability to create content. But I was wanting to have a one-on-one conversation with everybody that I am doing the podcast with in person, just for the simple fact that I feel as if it creates a more genuine experience. And not only that, there is absolutely nothing that can compare to the human on human interaction that you get when you're sitting right across from the person that you're speaking with. So I'm not going to say I'm going to release a podcast every week on a certain day. I'm going to release content when the content comes, okay? Be it twice in a week, be it 3 times in a week, maybe it's once a month. I don't think it'll ever get to that because I really do enjoy doing this. I think that as ideas come out, I'm going to want to produce them. But I don't want to set on Thursday, be expecting this, because I don't want to run the risk of giving you all bad information or faulty content, or lackluster content rather. But aside from that, that's it, y'all. Nothing crazy has been going on in my life, really. The girls are getting big. My wife is doing fine. Like I said, I'm on leave currently, which is similar to a vacation. Getting ready to head to my new unit. I will be on Camp Pendleton. I'm super excited about that because it lets me know that I get to stay in sunny Southern California for another 3 years. But that's it. I tell you what, if you've listened all the way up to this point, I really do appreciate your time. I couldn't be more grateful. Please be patient with me in regards to the creation of content. And until next time, y'all, peace, love, and happiness.